smile.
Sorry, I'm good.
No, everyone will be in here in a second, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Now, if the last person in line, close the gate behind you, and that's running back to be anywhere next to the gate as well.
Okay.
So there's a little metal wire that's on the bottom. When you're right inside, you can use that to loop it around the gate. The little padlock you can use to lock it up in place as well. So we're locking this up in this one. Nice. Now, this is the only reason because we do have people walking around in the public hiking trail as well. And I don't want them to come inside this gate because it's open. They will come inside outside and
Locking it.
Yeah, so you can lock it up. Oh, actually, before you lock it up, I'm just going to go up and grab the key real quick.
Too bad. We're stuck down here.
Well, good thing, guys. I have the key over here. There's another key right behind you guys on a little orange lanyard way up there. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So there are 2 keys to get out there. But hey, welcome to RiveRun Cave. We start to look around, especially up above us on the ceiling. You guys start to see that glittery stuff up there. So that is called cave glitter. Now, does anyone know what cave glitter could be made out of?
Salt?
Salt? Not quite. What about water droplets? There's actually tiny little water droplets, guys. And if you shine your light on it, it gets a little bit sparkly. Now, it's condensation that actually tells us that we're near an entrance of a cave. Now, if you look on your left or your right into the limestone, you start to see some white streaks. Like over here, we can see them, some of the rocks you're sitting on. Does anyone know what those white streaks could be made of?
Quartz.
Quartz. That's a good guess, but not quite. I'll give you a little hint. It starts with an M and it ends in arbor. Oh, you got it already. You're pretty smart, eh? So it's marble. So marble got created by limestone, being compressed, heated up, and cooled down over time. So you got some marvelous marble. Awesome. Up above you over here, we have our first calcite formation. And this is a form of draperies, also known as cave bacon. So it's water droplets that follow the same path all over and over again, making those little bacon strips here. Now, we have some more calcite on my right-hand side, and this is looking like peanut butter color. Now, calcite usually is nice and white. Now, this is peanut butter color because of people who have touched it over the years. Because their hands or gloves, they have dirt and oils on them that stain the calcite, and we actually break tiny crystal formations on top that changes the flow of water, and they don't grow anymore. So we really want to be mindful of the calcite today. Now, we're going to go a little bit further with that 3 points of contact down the bobsled chute over here. Just be mindful it can be quite slippery. And we'll be mindful of the calcite on the left. So come on over, guys. This is still full of water. That should be calcite, There's some more room over there to look at it. There is a little bit of calcite off over there. It's not in mind. Not where you're sitting. I know. So that stuff over there. Awesome. Now, welcome guys to the first room of the cave over here. In this room, we like to say it's called the sacrifice room. You guys signed those waivers. You guys read that we have around an 80% return rate, right? Yeah. So this is called the sacrifice room because if you look in the middle, there's some calcite that we have sacrificed for you guys. So that's the only calcite in the cave that you're allowed to touch. So you can get that urge of touching calcite. You can see what it feels like if you like. It's still nice and white because of all the water that rushes through here in the winter time. So you go ahead, feel it, touch it if you guys like to. We can also do it as we go further into the cave. But if we have a look around us, especially up above us, you can see a massive chandelier of calcite.
Wow.
Now, underneath it, you guys see those river rocks being held up in place. So that is actually evidence that used to be the old floor of the cave. So you can imagine the floor that we're standing on used to be way up over there. So those glaciations actually brought the floor down lower to where it is right now. Now, who remembers those little soda straws that I was talking about on the trail? You can actually see some of them right behind me. So right up over there, hanging from the wall, you can see little straws hanging down, a couple inches tall, so a couple hundreds of years old. And then what if you look over to the right, over there? You guys see that guy? It's about a foot tall over there. Does anyone remember how old that one would be? It's a foot tall. Or you're really close at 1 0 to that, it would be 1,200 years old. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Now that one's about a foot tall. The biggest one that we have is about 3 times as tall as that. So almost 4,000 years old. We have some popcorn rock on my side over here, some flowstone right beside it, and a bunch of cauliflower rock all up over there. And we also have brain rock, which is just right up over here. It's actually the smartest rock in the room. Just be mindful of that. So let's keep on going a little bit further, guys. We'll head over to the display wall. Just be mindful of the calcite that is on our left-hand side over there. Ooh, you think that would be pretty good together? No, you don't want to go to it? Can you try it? Maybe. That was really cool. There we go. That's all right. No, it's clean, right? Welcome guys to the display wall behind me over here. Now this is called the display wall because the longer you look at it, the more it will start to come to life. meaning we're starting to see some animals appear. Just be mindful of it there. There's all calcite where your left hand is. So right up over here, guys, what does that kind of look like? Does anyone see that? Some sort of animal sticking out? Long beak with his teeth. Maybe like a crocodile or an alligator. It's pretty cool. It's a stalactite hanging down right on top of its beak. You can see a bullfrog called Jeremiah. And then we also have the protector of the cave, guys. And it's just down over there. You can see a wolf right over here, howling up in the air, this fuzzy little tail. Now, those little soda straws, sometimes they actually swirl around kind of like a pig's tail, or sometimes they look like little lightning bolts. You can actually see that stuff over here, this little guy, kind of looking like a little pig's tail. Now we call those helictites. And scientists are not quite sure why they're moving around in these weird little shapes, like a spiral going down. And they believe it could be the water pressure as it leaves, or maybe tiny, tiny little microorganisms that live on top of the calcite that changes the flow of water. Or maybe a little bit of a wind drift as well. A bunch of little things that you can think of. If you look down on the right-hand side over there, in that little section, you guys see that massive stalactite that is hanging down from the ceiling. So that stalactite, we estimate to be around 35,000 years old. And underneath it, there's two little bumps, so two little stalagmites. Now one day, the stalactite and the stalagmite, they'll meet up in the middle. And when they finally do meet up in the middle, what do you guys think we would call them when they do? A column, look at that. I tried to make things easy today. So we would call them a column. Now you can actually see a column happening just right up over here. So we can see a crab hand grabbing a top of a bauble or something like that. So it's a stalactite and a stalagmite. And together, the stalagmates. Look at that. I think I like that name a little bit better than just column, right? Stalagmates. Now, we're going to go a little bit further into the cave. We're going to go sit around the ice cream waterfall. It'll be hard for all of us to sit around it, so we'll just try and get as close as we can. And as we go further, the guys in the back, you guys can take some photos and whatnot. But the ice cream waterfall, I'll get into it once we're down there. It is quite fragile, so just be mindful of that. There's going to be a little section of boulders where we're going to go around onto the left. There's a little bit more room as well. So you guys can follow me. Just be mindful of the calcite on our left. There's a little bit on the ceiling over here as well. There's like looking on top of this calcite shelf. You can see microscopic. Okay. Awesome. Now it will be hard to see for everyone, but welcome to the ice cream waterfall over here. It's one of our bigger formations inside of this cave, and we estimate it to be around 65,000 years old. It actually goes up 3 stories high, so about as high as that chandelier that we were able to see in that sacrifice room. And it's a form of flowstone. So in the winter time, it actually still flows with water. That's how it just slowly grows layer by layer. And you can actually see two different colors as well. So in front of us, you can see that white calcite over here. But if you look a little bit more towards your right, over there, you can see some calcite that's a little bit more brown, isn't it? Now, peanut butter, yes. Now that is brown not because of people who have touched it. That is actually brown because of sediment, so dirt that gets into the water and makes the calcite a little different color. Look at that. Calcite can be different colors, which is pretty cool. It can be white or brown, a bunch of other colors as well, which is pretty cool. Right beside me over here, you guys will be able to see it once we go further into the cave, but there's a bunch of brimstone pools. Now they're usually filled up with water, but this guy is a little bit dried up at the moment, so in the winter time we'll be filling up again. But inside of it there's dog-tooth spars, which are tiny little teeth sticking out. It's basically a tiny formation of calcite. It's pretty cool. Now, where you are actually sitting is a pretty cool spot to take some photos, where you can really look straight up into the ice cream waterfall, maybe give each other some light as well. Now once you've taken a photo, we'll go a little bit further, where you can actually hear the water rushing down over there. How does that sound? Pretty good? So go ahead, take some photos, and then you guys can follow me further down into the cave. Look at that. You want me to turn it on for you?
What? Miss Moore's photo opportunity.
I'm coming back. You go. Come back here.
Yeah. That works a little bit better, right?
There you go.
Are you having fun so far? Yeah. You're quite small, so it's quite easy.
Oh, I'm good. Maybe sometime I need some light. Too much light? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I hate science.
What?
You say you hate science.
Yeah, I hated science in school.
This is geology.
Well, it's kind of a little.
Cool silence.
Awesome. And come in nice and close, guys, so you'll all be able to see it. Perfect. Welcome, guys, to the recovery wall over here. Now, this is called the recovery wall because back in the 70s, people actually broke inside of this cave and they left a bunch of spray paints behind. Just quite unfortunate, so I don't know if you guys have noticed it already, maybe some red stuff here and there. There's a little bit more red stuff, so red spray paint is right up over here. Maybe hard to see for some of you guys, but that red spray paint is actually almost gone. And it's almost gone because this formation is the fastest growing formation in the whole cave. Can anyone guess maybe why this is the fastest growing? Yeah, because all the water. So it has water flowing all year round, and it actually grows all year round as well. Now, behind you, over here, we actually have the calcite that is the slowest. So it's quite dry. It's grown so much that it's cut off its own supply of water towards the top over there. It's not growing anymore. It's pretty cool. If you look underneath the calcite, you can see some rocks being held up in by the calcite underneath, and maybe eventually this massive rock over here will boulder. You can think of it as calcite forms around it, would act as a glue, hold it in place as the floor goes lower. So maybe come back in the next couple thousands of years, we may be able to see this guy just floating. That'd be pretty cool. We can wait that long, right? Now, inside of the cave, we have 3 different zones. So we have the entrance, which we've been into. Then we have the twilight zone, which is a zone where you can still see some of the light from the outside. And then we have the zone of total darkness. Wow, do you know what zone we are sitting in right now? It's in total darkness. Oh yes, that's why we're all having a nice little seat over here. Because in just a second, guys, we're going to be turning our lights off. We will be able to see that light of your GoPro, so if you don't mind turning it on or just covering it, doesn't matter.
Okay.
And then if you guys can stay seated, try not to move around or anything like that, because it will be quite dark. If you want to turn your light on at any time, that's okay. Just make sure you're pointing it down so we're not blinding anyone. And if you guys are up for it, you guys can turn your lights off. We'll see what we can see in total darkness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more. You were there. So this is the clear quartz, guys. Usually looks a little bit nicer. That's why I've used this quite a lot already. We just strike it like a match. I guess that's low number. Not quite a lot of, not enough light to get us out of the cave though, is there? Now, we want to go one last section further into this cave. Yes. So we are going to be passing some water over here, so the rocks are going to be slippery. There's a little pool of water, so if you don't want to get wet feet, don't step in that pool of water, just walk around it. There is calcite on the right-hand side. There's a shelf where there's some rocks sticking out. Those rocks, seem to like they're good to touch, but they're on a calcite slab, which is really fragile. So any body weight could break it off. So just be mindful of that on the right-hand side. Otherwise, you guys can follow me. We'll go into the last room. It's called the Buddha room, and we'll head over to the left-hand side, and we'll hang out over there. Sounds good? Let's do it.
Want me to go?
You are waiting for that? Look at that, you got some boots on, that's perfect. Just be mindful of the calcite of the feet as you pass by. Awesome. Welcome guys to the Buddha room. Oh, here, I'll give you guys some light. So this Buddha room, it's called the Buddha room because in just a second, we'll be able to see a little stalagmite that got turned into a little Buddha statue. Now, some people don't see Buddha, some people just see a little baby that's sitting in mashed potatoes or Jabba the Hutt, if you like Star Wars. Look at that. When we have a look around us, especially behind you guys over here, we start to see 2 different colors of calcite again. So we have the white calcite and then the brown calcite, which we know is from dirt or sediment. And there's also calcite that can be a little bit red. That's from iron dioxide, or it can be blue or green from copper. And then there's also calcite, guys, that's a little bit silvery, like this guy over here. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Or is that not calcite, guys? Well, if it's not calcite, I'm pretty sure we can walk on top of there. But most of you guys, if you're standing where I am, you can actually look out, you'll be able to see that Buddha statue. If you're not able to see it, there's a way up with these little metal steps over here. Which, if you want to do that, is a handhold over here. The left foot, right foot on the middle, same line of the calcite, and you can look out and you can see that little Buddha statue. So you guys can come up one at a time, and once you've looked at it, we'll head back over into that section over there.
Sorry, it's not right.
There we go. Yeah. See that little Buddha statue? Yeah. That's pretty cool, isn't it? See the little guy over there? See his little face over there? That's pretty cool, right? There you go. I hold up a little bit for you. See the little guy? Does it look like you got to see or something else? There we go. And hold it over there. There we go. See the little guy? That looks like it, right? Yeah, it's the little guy you can see over there. Little good guy. Little jog on up to see him. Now what do you see in that little guy? Yeah, go for it.
Up there?
Down over here, I think shadow.
Oh, yeah, definitely looks right.
That's not too bad, is it?
Only has one eye.
Yeah. Only has one eye? Is it fusion man? And I would recommend coming up here so you can see it on the GoPro as well.
Okay.
So there's a little handhold up over there. There we go. Right foot over there for you. That's it. See the little shadow?
Oh yeah, I see. Cool.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Definitely Jabba the Hutt.
Definitely Jabba the Hutt?
Yeah.
There we go. Awesome. Well, that, guys, is the end of the horizontal part of this tour. So further down that way where the water is going, that's where the crawl spaces start for the 5-hour tour. Now there's one crawl space which is actually 1.5 miles long. Yes, we have someone who works here, his name is Miles. This is 1.5 miles long. Otherwise, after that, you get to the decision room. You decide if you still want to do a 5-hour tour or not. Lots of call stations, just outing, lots of cool, untouched Elsa. With all the wider than Elsa can feel. Very cool stuff. We're harvest eventually out of this place. There's a couple things to keep in mind. We have a get of Elsa on the left-hand side. There's one more thing to mind for us. This little rock is sitting right over here. We call it the decapitator. We're going to be mindful of the decapitator if you do want our helmet set for handle, okay? Awesome. Come on over, guys. And last but not least, look at that. Okay, thank you.
No gold.
Because you guys can all imagine this cave doesn't form in like a couple seconds, does it? Does anyone remember how old this cave would be? Yeah, look at that. Someone's paying attention. I like it. 140,000 years old. Now, who remembers the age of the beginning of the cave? That really forward cave. Yeah. Oh, you're really close. I really like that. It's pre-attic tube. Oh yeah, you're close to finish today. I like it. So pre-attic tube, guys, can actually see one up over here. There's a little tube. You guys can't see this one. There's another one just behind you guys over there. It's a little bit bigger. Now, this pre-attic tube would be a beginning of a cave. Now, that would have been way up there towards the sacrifice room. So we'll follow tube. It's bigger and bigger and bigger until all of us go inside. And else explanation. That's pretty cool. We're going to go a little bit further up. I'm going to show you guys some cave bacon in action today. And, oh yeah, there's going to be a little challenge option over here. We can go around the boulder on the right hand side where you have most amount of room. If you want to challenge yourself to help to pop over these boulders, just be mindful of the ice cream waterfall that is on your left hand side. So we can come on up whichever way you'd like to do it. I'll meet you guys just in front of that cave bacon.
Much easier to go left way. That's okay. I'll go with the
Now you guys remember that cave bacon that we saw in the beginning of the cave, correct? There's a little bit more cave bacon right up over here. Kind of looks pretty cool, right? Looks like bacon. Now watch what happens if I shine my light on the other side. You guys ready? Oh, that's some cave bacon over there. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Looks like
Fried
fried bacon.
bacon. Do you think it's crispy enough for yourself, Phil? Maybe a little underdone, so we might have to wait another couple thousand of years for that to be nice and crispy. And then if you guys turn your lights back on and look straight up into the cave, you can really see how massive this cave actually is. Holy cow. It's kind of hard to see from where we're going down, wasn't it? So that three attic system we were just talking about is way up there, the beginning of the cave. We're going to make our way out of this cave, and I will show you guys some crinoid fossils on our way out. And I'll show it to the first person, and then you guys can relay it back to the person behind you, all the way so everyone can see it. Just be mindful though, when it's coming up, all the kelsic on our right hand side. Come on up whenever you're ready, and I'll point out the crinoid fossil.
Oh, cool.
If you haven't yet, that's the Kelsa that we sacrifice. You guys can talk to it if you haven't yet. Talk to you guys. But we are back in the sacrifice room, so I guess we just have to talk about the elephant in the room, right? Yeah. Because there is actually an elephant in this room. It goes straight up that way. And you see a little elephant trunk over there. You use your imagination, maybe to see its ears. Lots of great cake bacon all up inside. So, pretty cool stuff. Now, we're going to make our way out of this cave, and the way that we're going to do that is up this stairway to heaven over here. And it's called the stairway to heaven because at the end of it, there's a light. It's also called the ninja room because at the end of it, ninja warriors, cave survivors. So do you want to go first? Let's do it. You guys can make your way up as well. We'll go over towards the right over there. Yeah. Look at those cave professionals over here. How are you guys doing? How did we like the cave? Was that pretty good? Have you been climbing? Might get a little too bad. Are you ready for the next one? Right? Perfect. Here's the exercise. There we go. Perfect. Wait till the next cave. Yep, the second season. I'm from all over the place.
That's a good place to
Right? Yeah, no,
Where were you born?
I was born here in Canada,
Oh, okay.
and then I grew up in the Netherlands. When I was 4, my parents.
That's why you have a bit of an accent.
Yeah, exactly. So I grew up there, lived there for 12 years. I came back to Canada when I was 16.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Awesome. How was the cave for yourself?
Pretty nice. What's this? You can see.
That could be a little piece of marble that has been broken off.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. You want to keep it? Don't tell anyone though.
I found it on the ground, so
Ah, there you go.
I didn't break it.
No, that's all good. I believe it. No, it's a funny thing in these BC parks. It's so funny because even a stick, you're not even allowed to take out the park.
Oh, I know.
That's how strict they are.
I know. It's crazy.
But if you don't tell anyone, and definitely don't show your guide, it should be all good, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People do it all the time. I'm so glad I brought my shoes, though.
Yeah.
So much easier to.
Walk around in, right?
Yeah. The hike, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.